Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and share.
Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Now let's continue with subtopic 9.3 Fertilization and Fetal Development. So since in 9.2 we have learned the production of sperm, which is the male gamete, and also the formation of the egg, the female gamete. So later on, okay, we're going to learn about fertilization. So what is fertilization? So fertilization is a process of union of a male gamete and female gamete. Process union of male gamete and also female gamete. Okay, and this fertilization occur in oviduct. So it occur in oviduct. So where is oviduct? Recall back, here is the ovary, then the oviduct. Male, female will have a pair of ovary, and then this is the uterus. So the fertilization will take place here at the oviduct, either at the left side or at the right side. Okay. And then for fertilization, it has 4 stages. Okay, the first one is capacitation, followed by acrosomal reaction, fusion of sperm head membrane and secondary oocyte, and the last stage is cortical reaction. So before we go through all this stage, recall back the structure of the secondary oocyte. Structure of secondary oocyte, it has the outer layer which is from the follicular cell. We call this as granulosa cell. And then the jelly coat layer here called Zona Pellucida. And here is the plasma membrane of the secondary oocyte. And here is the egg nucleus. Okay, so capacitation. Okay, capacitation is a process. Okay, let's padam dulu. Okay, since we know that in ovarian cycle, during ovarian cycle, when the Graafian follicle bursts, okay, it will release the secondary oocyte. Okay, so the Graafian follicle here in the ovary, and then the Graafian follicle bursts, so it will release secondary oocyte. Here is the secondary oocyte. And then the capacitation is a process when the male, okay, eject the sperm, and then the sperm will swim along the female reproductive tract. So once the sperm enter female reproductive tract, means the capacitation stage is occur. Okay, bila mana sperm masuk saja dalam female reproductive tract, maksudnya bermulalah proses stage capacitation, di mana the sperm will swim along the reproductive tract to go for the secondary oocyte, to meet the secondary oocyte. So along this journey, the sperm itself may undergo differentiation. Okay, their structure of head become more aerodynamic, means dia akan lebih aerodynamic supaya dia boleh berenang lebih laju untuk dia jumpa dengan secondary oocyte. Okay, so this is important to increase sperm motility and function. And now so now the sperm is ready to contact secondary oocyte. Okay, so recall back, in capacitation, it is occur before fertilization. First, it is around plus minus 6 hours after sperm enter female reproductive tract. Okay, proses ini berlaku dalam lebih kurang 6 jam. Once dia masuk reproductive tract, bermulalah capacitation. And then during capacitation process, the sperm may undergo differentiation. Okay, this is to increase the sperm motility and function. And now when it reaches the secondary oocyte, the sperm ready to contact with secondary oocyte. So bila dia sampai sahaja dekat secondary oocyte, so akan masuk stage yang kedua iaitu acrosomal reaction. So apa terjadi dalam acrosomal reaction? Kita tengok gambar ni. Sperm travel through layer of follicle cell or granulosa cell. So sekarang ni dia dah sampai secondary oocyte. So the first layer yang direntas is the follicle cell or called as granulosa cell. And this cell arranged loosely. Okay, so akan ada banyak sperm yang pada masa yang sama akan sama-sama cross the granulosa cell. Okay, and then what happen is when the sperm able to pass through the granulosa cell, it will reach the second layer. This second layer is a jelly coat layer called Zona Pellucida. So, the sperm will bind with the receptor within Zona Pellucida and induce acrosomal reaction. Okay, acrosomal reaction. Acrosome. So, recall back in a spermatozoa structure. Okay, this is the head, neck, midpiece and the tail. In the head, it has two important structures, the acrosome structure and the nucleus. In the acrosome has hydrolytic enzyme. So, to penetrate Zona Pellucida, the acrosome will release the hydrolytic enzyme. So, see, kamu boleh nampak di sini. So, this is referred to hydrolytic enzyme. This enzyme can digest Zona Pellucida so that the sperm will penetrate Zona Pellucida. Okay, so sperm travel through layer of follicle cell or granulosa cell. Sperm bind to receptor within Zona Pellucida, induce cortical reaction. Acrosome in sperm head release hydrolytic enzyme to digest Zona Pellucida, enabling sperm cell to penetrate Zona Pellucida. Okay, the third stage is, okay, sekarang ni this one dah berlaku. Okay, tengok pula apa yang berlaku seterusnya. Once the sperm penetrate Zona Pellucida, so it now touch the plasma membrane of egg plasma membrane. Nampak tak? Dia dah touch egg plasma membrane. So this, the third stage, which is the fusion of sperm head membrane and secondary oocyte. Fusion of sperm head membrane and secondary oocyte occur when the tip of acrosome contact with secondary oocyte membrane. Sperm nucleus enter cytoplasm of secondary oocyte. So, apa yang berlaku di sini? Okay, this is lead cortical reaction and trigger secondary oocyte to complete meiosis 2, which is it will become ovum and produce second polar body. Okay. So, apa yang berlaku di sini? Okay. Once the sperm already penetrate Zona Pellucida and then the sperm head touch the egg membrane. So, itu kita panggil sebagai fusion of sperm head membrane and secondary oocyte. Dan apa yang berlaku? This nucleus of sperm may enter the egg. Okay. So the sperm nucleus enters cytoplasm of secondary oocyte. Then the entrance of the sperm nucleus trigger the egg nucleus to complete the meiosis II. Remember oogenesis process. Okay, primary oocyte undergo meiosis 1 and the complete meiosis 1 and onset of meiosis 2. Okay, and become secondary oocyte. And then the secondary oocyte is actually at metaphase 2. Betul? So the secondary oocyte will complete meiosis 2, which means it will continue with anaphase 2, telophase 2, and finally will form a ovum and second polar body once the sperm nucleus enter the egg cytoplasm. Okay, so now is the stage number 4, which is the last stage, the cortical reaction. So the cortical granule release enzyme to harden zona pellucida, prevent polyspermy. What is polyspermy? Prevent other sperm to fuse with the egg membrane. So male and female nuclei fuse to form zygote, attachment of parental and maternal chromosome. Okay, so what is meant by this stage? Now the sperm head already released the nucleus. So katakanlah di sini dah ada dah sperm nucleus. Masuk sahaja sperm nucleus. This is cortical granule. Yang bulat-bulat ni cortical granule. Dia berada dalam cytoplasm of egg cytoplasm. So this cortical granule will release enzyme. Dia akan keluarkan enzyme so that it will harden the zona pellucida. Dia akan keraskan zona pellucida. So datanglah sperm ini, dia bagilah 1 liter hydrolytic enzyme, 1 galen hydrolytic enzyme pun takkan mampu penetrate ataupun takkan mampu digest zona pellucida itu. Okay, so takkan mampu dah untuk penetrate this zona pellucida. So this is important to prevent polyspermy, and this is why, because in normal yang akan in a normal gestation hanya akan ada selalunya 1 baby. Itu memang normal lah. Yang twin tu yang tak, yang rare. So kenapa? Sebab dia dah prevent daripada ada sperm lain yang akan fuse dengan egg. So itu kita panggil sebagai cortical reaction. So now the sperm nucleus and the egg nucleus, they are fertilized, they fuse together. Okay, so now they fuse together. This structure now is called as zygote, which is 2 end from the sperm and another end from the egg. 23 chromosome from the sperm, 23 chromosome from the egg. Okay, so that is fertilization. Alright, now let's continue with fetal development. Alright, so since we know the sperm, which is haploid, and egg fertilized, then they may form a diploid zygote. So this zygote may undergo repeated mitotic division, which called as cleavage. Okay, so from 2 cells become 4, 4 become 8, 8 becomes 16, and finally it may form a solid ball structure like this, which called as morula. So this morula is surrounded by zona pellucida. Single cell of the morula is called as blastomere. Right? Single cell of morula
is blastomere. And then this morula will continue cleavage process. During travel to the uterus, the morula will undergo cleavage process. Then finally, it may form this structure. Look like hollow ball structure. Why hollow? Because has empty space here. And then this structure called as blastocyst. And for blastocyst, take a look the closure view. Okay, the blastocyst have three important structure: tropoblast, blastocyst, and inner cell mass. So for tropoblast is the thin layer. Blastocyst is the empty zone which filled with fluid, and then the inner cell mass is the area with compact cell. Then these blastocysts, they may buried in a uterine wall. It may undergo implantation. So look at here. Okay, the fertilization occur in oviduct. So this is show the ovulation, which the Graafian follicle released by the Graafian follicle release the secondary oocyte, then the secondary oocyte travel into oviduct, and here the fertilization occur to form the zygote. Then in the first day, the zygote will undergo cleavage to form 2 cell, and then the second day 4 cell, third day become 16 cell, and then here they are in a solid ball structure, and then same day 4 undergo cleavage again to form a solid ball structure called morula, and then day 5 the morula continue with the cleavage process and form the blastocyst. So this blastocyst will implant, okay, mean it will bury itself at the endometrium wall. Right. So in this, you need to know that, okay, inner cell mass is towards endometrium. Means bahagian inner cell mass akan berada towards endometrium. So dia akan berada ke dalam. Maksudnya dia yang akan tertanam di dalam endometrium. So it may form a two important structure which is epiblast and hypoblast. Okay, epiblast and hypoblast. Okay, here is the epiblast structure. Okay, and then this is hypoblast structure. Then the tropoblast, okay, the structure of tropoblast will secrete enzyme to digest the liquefying endometrium cell to enable blastocyst penetrate the uterine lining. So the blastocyst may bury itself in the endometrium wall. So to penetrate this, dia mestilah digest the endometrium cell. So the enzyme is secreted by the tropoblast. Other than that, this tropoblast structure, they may secrete hormone called human chronic gonadotropin. So this hormone is important to sustain the corpus luteum to secrete progesterone and estrogen until placenta is fully developed. So macam yang kita belajar, dalam menstrual cycle, bila estrogen and progesterone level drop, automatically our endometrial wall akan shade. So akan berlaku menstrual flow phase. But then for pregnancy woman, since the tropoblast secrete HCG, so the HCG will cause the corpus luteum to maintain secrete estrogen and progesterone so that the thickness of endometrium wall is maintained. Okay, so the next thing is when the placenta is fully developed, Okay, so the corpus luteum will degenerate. Okay, next. Okay, so here all this process we call as embryogenesis. Okay, next is gastrulation. What is gastrulation? Okay, after implantation, the embryo may undergo gastrulation. Gastrulation is a formation of three germ layer, which is ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm. Okay, gastrulation also a process formation of four extra embryonic membrane, which is chorion, amnion, yolk sac, and allantois. Okay, so this is the structure of gastrula. When the blastocyst undergo gastrulation, it may form a structure called gastrula. What is gastrula? Embryo with three germ layer: ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm. And at the same time, actually, they may have four extra embryonic membrane. Okay, what is four extra embryonic membrane? So look at this. Okay, they have the chorion. The outer layer, the chorion, is developed from the tropoblast. And the function is outer layer from the chorionic villi and from fetal portion of placenta. So this chorion akan jadi fetal portion of placenta dan akan hasilkan chorionic villi. And then second layer, the blue color, this is referred to amnion. So the amnion is developed from the epiblast, which is the part from inner cell mass. So this amnion, it will enclose the embryo in fluid-filled amniotic cavity. So kita boleh nampak this blue color represent amniotic fluid, or in bahasa Melayu the general term kita panggil sebagai air ketuban. So this amnion, the function is to protect embryo from drying out and cushion it against mechanical shock. Okay, and then the yolk sac. Okay, this is the yolk sac. And this is developed from the hypoblast of the inner cell mass. And the function is site of early formation of blood cell. The site of early formation of blood cell. And the next one, which is the last one, is allantois. So here is the allantois. What is allantois? Okay, the function is to incorporate together with yolk sac into umbilical cord. Okay, maksudnya dia yang akan jadi nanti, kalau dalam bahasa Melayu, general term umbilical cord ni akan jadi tali pusat. So they forms blood vessel that transport respiratory gases, nutrient and waste between embryo, fetus and the placenta. So dia sebagai channel di antara embryo dan juga placenta. And then talk about placenta. Okay. This is the anatomy of placenta. Okay. The placenta is red color one here. Okay. So the placenta is the invading tropoblast, chorionic villi, cell from epiblast and adjacent endometrial tissue with all contribute to form placenta. So maksudnya placenta ni dihasilkan daripada layer tropoblast, layer chorionic villi, ingat tadi? Okey, dari segi chorion tadi, kita dah tahu chorion akan jadikan chorionic villi dan chorion itu datang daripada tropoblast. And then kita belajar juga which the chorion will become a fetal portion of placenta. So dia datang daripada structure tropoblast. And then epiblast pun contribute to form the placenta. And then the function of placenta, this is the detailed structure of placenta, allow exchange of material between mother and fetus without direct contact between the two blood circulation. So means dia boleh allow exchange of material between mother and fetus without direct contact between the two blood circulation. So maksudnya campuran darah tidak akan berlaku tapi masih lagi boleh bertukar material. Okay, and then prevent maternal hormone, chemical and pathogen from crossing the placenta to the fetus. So maksudnya because of the placenta ni akan menghalang daripada hormon ibu, chemical and ada pathogen daripada darah ibu untuk masuk kepada fetus. Tetapi ada certain yang tetap juga boleh masuk, for example adalah HIV virus. Okay, and then this placenta, it will take over the corpus luteum to secrete estrogen and progesterone, okay, to secrete HCG. Other than that, okay, estrogen, progesterone and HCG by week 10. Okay, maksudnya tadi kan kita dah cakap pada awalnya the tropoblast will secrete HCG to sustain corpus luteum to continue secreting estrogen and progesterone until placenta is fully developed. After the tropoblast form the chorion and then finally develop into placenta, so the placenta will take the job to secrete the estrogen, progesterone together with the HCG hormone. Usually the placenta will fully develop by week 10. Right. So now when the embryo has already 3 germ layer called gastrula, the gastrula will undergo process neurulation. So neurulation is a process formation of central nervous system. Neurulation is a process formation of central nervous system. So how it formed? First, the tropoblast structure, okay, which is the ectoderm layer, okay, the ectoderm layer will form a neural plate. So here is the neural plate, the green one. And then the neural plate, dia akan melipat untuk membentuk struktur yang dipanggil sebagai neural tube. So here is the neural tube. Later on, the neural tube will develop into brain and also the spinal cord, which is our central nervous system. So once the embryo have the neural plate, have the neural tube, we call it as neurula. So means neurula embryo yang dah ada CNS, which is the central nervous system. Okay, after that, after the embryo have central nervous system, then they may undergo organogenesis. The neurula may undergo process organogenesis, which is a process formation of organ from the germ layer. So we have 3 germ layer: ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm. So all these 3 germ layer will develop to form organ and also organ system. Okay, for example, the ectoderm will form epidermis of skin, and it also will become epithelial lining of mouth and rectum. And ectoderm will develop into nervous system. For mesoderm layer, it may develop to form the skeletal and muscular system, circulatory system, lymphatic system, excretory system, and also reproductive system. And then for the endoderm, they may develop into epithelial lining of digestive tract and epithelial lining of respiratory system, and also may form pancreas and thyroid. So when the embryo already have all the organ, okay, then we do not call it as embryo anymore. We call it as fetus. So look at here, by week 6 pun dia dah jadi fetus sebab dia dah ada dia punya backbone, and then dia dah ada dia punya brain, then dah ada structure of hand, and then dia dah ada dia punya jantung. So by this time kalau pergi buat scan, kita boleh dengar dia punya heartbeat. Okay, then the fetus, okay, will develop, continue in a second trimester of pregnancy and also the third trimester of pregnancy. So for second trimester, the fetus have rapid growth and very active. Level of his CG will decline. Okay, and then the corpus luteum degenerate. Then the placenta will secrete progesterone. Okay, so this hormone is very important. Later on in next subtopic, we're going to discuss more on this. And then in the third trimester, here is the third trimester. Okay, the fetus continue to grow. Okay, and then the fetal activity decrease. Why? Sebab dia dah memenuhi ruang, jadi dia punya pergerakan agak terbatas. So that's why kita kata fetal activity decrease. And then the fetus will undergo process birth or parturition. Maksudnya akan fetus ini nanti akan dilahirkan dalam proses yang dipanggil sebagai parturition dan forming a baby. Once dia dah keluar, so kita tak panggil dia fetus lagi, kita panggil dia sebagai baby. So here again, the embryonic development and fetal development start from the zygote, become morula. Morula is solid ball, and then the blastocyst. Blastocyst is hollow ball which have tropoblast, blastocoil, inner cell mass. And then the inner cell mass have epiblast, hypoblast. Then the blastocyst undergo gastrulation, formation of 3 germ layer, which is ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm, and also formation of 4 extra embryonic membrane, which is chorion, amnion, yolk sac, and allointois. And from the blastocyst, it form a structure called gastrula. So this gastrula mean they have already the 3 germ layer. And then the gastrula undergo neurulation, which process formation of nervous system. So the nervous system is developed from the ectoderm layer. Then become neurula, mean the embryo with the nervous system. Then the neurula may undergo organogenesis, process producing organ and organ system. So ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm will develop to form organ and organ system. And after they have organ system, we not call as embryo, now we call it as fetus. And then the fetus will develop, continue from the second trimester pregnancy, third trimester pregnancy until it been birth during process called, it been delivered during a process called birth or parturition. So here is the baby. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.